Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Scarecrow Gone Wild. So, this is the last movie in the Scarecrow trilogy. So we're going to wrap it up here. This was a fun little series of reviews. I like knocking out franchises. I don't know if you all feel like this, but I'm telling you what. I've always been just a huge fan of just watching entire movie franchises. I don't know. There's something about it. I don't do this with every single franchise, but I would say for the most part, most of the time, if I watch a movie and I've realized that there are sequels, I'm like, I have to watch them all. There's something, I don't know. There's something fun about just chipping away and knocking out like every movie in a franchise. I don't know. Maybe I just have no life. That could be argued, but I don't know. I always think that's fun, and it's fun finding like new franchises that I've never seen. So I'm kind of sad to be wrapping up the Scarecrow franchise. That was a fun little franchise to watch and review, but here we go. This is the last review in the Scarecrow trilogy, so here we go. So first things first, gotta tell you all my overall enjoyment. Give it to you straight. So I thought this was a decent movie. It was entertaining for the most part. If people are unfamiliar with these movies, they're very low budget, direct to video horror movies. So you gotta go in knowing that they're not from like an objective standpoint, they're not great movies. But for what they are, some of them are good. The first one was good. The second one sucked. We're not going to talk about that, but actually we are probably going to reference it in this movie. In this video. We're going to probably reference it in this video just for comparison. But yeah, you gotta know what these movies are going in. But for what they are, I think they're fun movies. And this one, it was decent. I didn't like it as much as the first one. The first one's still my favorite, but this was leaps and bounds better than the second one. Like, this was a trillion, billion. I don't know why I said a billion after trillion. A billion, trillion, quintillion, Sicilian style pizza. Anyways, it's like leaps and bounds better than the last one. The last one, complete trash. It's terrible. I watch, all these weird, obscure B movies, and if I'm saying that a movie's bad, it's bad. I have very low standards when it comes to movies. Like, I don't get disappointed. I'm like a simpleton. I'll watch all kinds of movies that normal people would probably like scoff at. They'd be like, psh, 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 hit him with the Ed Bassmaster, psh. They'd be like, what are you wasting your time with? You're watching Leprechaun 3? Like, who people actually watch that? You effing goober? They'd be like, what the heck? So if I'm saying a movie's bad, it's bad. So Scarecrow Slayer, F you, Scarecrow Slayer, get out of my face. But anyways, this movie, leaps and bounds better than Scarecrow Slayer. I've kind of just rambled a lot this video, so let me get into the plot summary. But yeah, basically this movie was decent. A lot better than the last one. Going in to these movies, if you've never seen them and you're curious, you gotta know they're low budget. They're like direct to DVD horror movies, so you gotta judge them for what they are. For what it is, this is a good movie. I'm just giving a recap because sometimes I lose my train of thought. I just go off on tangents. But anyways, yeah, decent movie. Don't go in with high expectations, but for what it is, fun. I just said that. I'm rambling. Plot summary. So you got this college baseball team. You got there's like these two main buddies. One of them is diabetic, and basically the upperclassmen are hazing the underclassmen. The coach is like, "Hey, what are you guys hazing or something? What are you hazing? My job is on the line. You're gonna get me in trouble." The coach is like jacked, by the way. That fool's putting in work. Like, that dude's buys and tries are off the chain, man. That dude, he's probably putting up like at least 300 on the bench press. Like, that fool is jacked. But anyways, they're hazing the underclassmen. The one kid who is diabetic, he's getting hazed like crazy, and they go out to this like cornfield that's right by the beach, and like I said, there's two buddies. You got the kid who is diabetic and his other buddy. His other buddy doesn't go along for the little beach retreat because he meets this young lady and just like immediately seduces her, and he just starts piping away, just like long strokes. Like, they have like a beautiful, like it's like they're just like making love. It's just beautiful. Like, they're just getting romantic with it. They're getting intimate with it right off the bat. They just met. They went jogging, and then like 2 seconds later, they're banging. So, I mean, props to them. They're a beautiful couple. They have great chemistry. I mean, 2 seconds into a date, banging. So that's what I like to see. I'm a big fan. I condone that type of stuff. I mean, you don't need all that BS. Just get straight to the point. Like, if you think, think each, they think they're both, they both are attracted to each other. So, they got those feelings. They might as well, knock it out right away. Plus, what if it took them like 50 dates to get down to business, and they realize like one of the other people's not that great of a partner when it comes to the intimate stuff. Like, that's why you gotta bang hard and fast and do it within 2 seconds of meeting someone. Then you can gauge if they're like I'm gonna reference Friday the 13th Part 4 here. Then you know if they're a dead fuck or not. So these people, they're not dead fucks. They got game. They got like dick game going crazy. You already know. But anyways, I don't really swear that much in the videos, but it's deep into the video, so it's fine. YouTube's not gonna demonetize me. Psych, I'm not even monetized. I don't even have 3 trillion subscribers yet, but one day we're gonna get 80 mil subs, mark my word. We're gonna be big time, we're gonna be selling out, we're gonna be doing paid promo, getting rich, you already know. But anyways, I am rambling in this video, and this is a late video. This is gonna be a late upload. This is gonna be the midnight show. This is gonna be the late Adult Swim upload. So anyways, yeah, this gentleman is piping away on this girl, so he doesn't go along on this beach retreat. He can't tell everyone that his buddy is diabetic because they don't know. He's like hiding it because for some reason they like wouldn't let him be on the team if he was diabetic, which in real life you can be diabetic and play sports. Like, that's totally allowed. But anyways, basically this kid, they're at this cornfield, and he's like freaking out because his blood sugar's low, and I think he like accidentally punches this young lady. It looks like he did it on purpose, but I think it was like accidental because he was freaking out, and they're all mad. They're like, "Why are you hitting this young lady? Like, that's not cool." So they tie him up, and he goes into diabetic shock, and he's pretty much like dying. And they take the kids out to this cornfield because like it's the prank. They're gonna have them they're gonna have like the underclassmen steal the Scarecrow, but they end up just tying this one kid to the post of the Scarecrow. He goes into diabetic shock. He's like almost dead, and his soul is his consciousness or soul or whatever is transferred into the Scarecrow, and for the rest of the movie, he's struggling to survive. He's like in this hospital bed, and he's like he'll be like conscious for a second, and then he'll slip back into unconsciousness, and then then he like turns into the Scarecrow and he's killing people. And yeah, that's the basic plot summary. That was kind of long-winded. This whole video is becoming longer than I anticipated, but what the heck, we're having fun. I don't know, I barely even, like, I didn't even know I had a day off today, and then it's like late, and I was like, oh man, I gotta do a video, so I just like watched this movie in the afternoon. I was like out and about doing stuff, and I was like, got back, watched this movie, and I'm like, okay, we're still getting a video done. It's gonna be a late night upload, probably no one's gonna watch it, but we're on that YouTube grind. You already know how it is. It's not really a grind. I just like doing it, and I want to watch a movie too. So whatever. But anyways, that's the plot summary. I hope that was sufficient. Anyways, moving into the actual review, random stuff. First things first, the kills in this movie way better than the last movie, and arguably better than the first movie. The first movie, I liked the actual Scarecrow better, but the kills were all cutaways, which, that's not cool. In this movie, and in the second movie, all the kills were CGI and they were terrible. In this movie, all the kills were practical. There's like one cutaway kill, this one with like a giant stone, but I mean, that's not a big deal. All the kills in this, for the most part, you actually got to see, and it was all practical. A couple standouts were, there's this one where this kid got like a pole through the chest. I thought that was pretty good. You get to see it. It's all practical. Looks phenomenal. And then there's this one guy who, like, the Scarecrow dumps this acid on his face, and you get to see the aftermath, and his face is all melted. I thought that looked great. There was this one kill that looked absolutely terrible, and there's this guy on the beach, and his intestines are out, and it just looks like they got like a bunch of like little cut up sausages, and they put them in blood, and they put them like on top of his stomach. Like it was like laughably bad. Other than that though, the kills in this movie were compared to the last movie and the previous movie, these are probably like the best kills in terms of like actually getting to see stuff, and like no cutaways, no CGI, just straight up practical effects. So the kills in this were an improvement. I thought the characters in the first movie were good, but the characters in the second movie I did not care about at all. Like I couldn't tell you their names. I couldn't tell you the names of the characters in this one, but the characters in this movie were way more likable. They were way more fleshed out. I mean, not that this movie like had a lot of story, but you actually got to know the characters quite a bit more than the last movie. The last movie, you're like introduced to them for like 1 second. You know nothing about them, and then the one guy becomes the Scarecrow. Like in this movie, the characters are way more fleshed out. The one of the main buddies, the guy who was piping away on that girl right away, I really like his character. He's like a thoughtful guy. He really cares about his friend who goes into diabetic shock. There's some like drama, there's some relationship drama with the other characters where there's this kind of love triangle that gets exposed. So this movie doesn't have a lot of story. It's, at the end of the day, it's like a direct-to-DVD slasher, but compared to the last movie, the characters were, they had way more to do. I like how the one guy who was friends with the guy who became the Scarecrow, he kind of gave some backstory about their friendship, and there was like some sincere moments. So yeah, I liked the characters more. The acting was way better in this than the last one. So yeah, there was like this movie, like I was indifferent about it. I was like, it seems all right. you know? Like, I kind of like the concept, how it's like the college party concept with the Scarecrow stuff. But I'm like, I don't know. Is it going to be bad like the second one? Because that second one was like rough. That was like a rough watch. So I'm like, I was skeptical about this. But there were so many improvements compared to the last one. So yeah, the characters, very likable compared to the last one. And just likable in general. Like, they were likable. Like, for this type of movie, the characters were very serviceable. They did very well. Well, the actors did well, but yeah, the characters were legit. So here's like a negative. I think the Scarecrow himself in this looked not he did not look good. So in the previous two movies, the Scarecrow was pretty much a mask, but I don't know. There was something about it. It was like more like form fitted, and it kind of had like a unique stitched together look. The mask in this, even though it was a mask in every single movie, this one really looked like a mask. It just looked like some rubber mask you would get from Party City or something. The mask looked bad, and like the bottom part of it, the bottom rubber part was like sticking out. What it looked like is, if you all have seen Halloween 5, how like Michael Myers' mask in that movie, the bottom part, the bottom rubber is like, it's not tucked in, and it's just like hanging down here, and it almost, it makes it like clearly in that movie it doesn't matter because you know Michael Myers is wearing a mask, but in this it clearly looks like a rubber mask and not a burlap sack, because there's this like extra like rubber hanging down. So yeah, I think even though the previous movie, I didn't like that movie, I think the Scarecrow did look better in the first two movies than he did in this movie. But that's not a huge thing. Like, he looked okay in this, so it's not a huge deal. But I don't know. That's something I thought and I wanted to point out. So there you go. And then the last point that I have is about the ending. So if you all have not seen this movie and you are interested in seeing it, this is a spoiler alert. I'm talking about the very end of the movie. So yeah, if you want to see the movie, pause the video and come back. Spoiler alert, spoilers ahead. So basically, you know how I was saying earlier that the two buddies, like they like the one buddy who does not turn into the Scarecrow, he kind of like offers up some backstory about their friendship, and he talks about when he was younger, he like had a problem with drugs, and he was gonna like jump off this bridge, and the buddy who turned into the Scarecrow like grabbed him, and he's like, if you're jumping, like, I'm going with you. And he was explaining that his buddy was not joking. Like, he would have really jumped for him to save his life. He would have jumped instead to save his life. And that was like a really heartfelt moment, and it was really sincere, and it kind of offered some nice backstory about their friendship. So at the end, the very end of the movie, the other gentleman who was not the Scarecrow, he somehow transfers the essence of the Scarecrow from his buddy into himself, and then he sacrifices himself. He impales himself with this giant cross, which I mean, you could never do that. It was like a giant wooden cross. Like, there's no way that you could like impale yourself with that. It wasn't that sharp, and it was huge. But who the heck cares? You know, whatever. This isn't Mythbusters here. We're not gonna say like, could you really impale yourself with a giant cross, a giant wooden cross? Of course you couldn't. I mean, this is a movie. Whatever. We're not gonna get that deep. But anyways, I like how they kind of like foreshadowed that. They talked about, he talked about his buddy would sacrifice himself, and he ended up sacrificing himself, and I did not see that coming, and I like how it tied with, the previous dialogue. I don't know. I thought it was a good ending. I was kind of sad because I liked that character, but I thought it was a clever little ending. So I don't know. I didn't expect that, and you know, some of these like lower budget horror movies, they just kind of end. They just end abruptly. You know, you're like, what the heck? Like, it's just, or it's like a BS like fake out ending. Like, it's like a fake out scare, or like one last jump scare. It's like, ooh, the killer's still alive again. You know, it's just some cliche type stuff. But this ending, I thought was actually kind of clever, and it came out of nowhere. So, and it tied to previous events in the movie. So, it was pretty darn cool. But anyways, that was the last thing I wanted to talk about. So I'm going to get into my recommendation, and then I'm going to ski daddle. So here's the deal. I would recommend this movie. I would say if you wanted to check out the Scarecrow trilogy, I would say watch the first movie and watch this movie. This movie, it's not as fun as the first one. It's not like I don't know. It's not like super cheesy, and it doesn't have like funny moments, and like the story's not as good as the first one. But you know, if for like a time waster, for you know, if you have already seen the first movie, or you have interest in seeing the first movie, I think you might as well see the third one as well. You know, if you're into watching sequels like I am. So yeah, this one's worth watching if you're into the franchise. But yeah, it probably won't knock your socks off. But it's a decent little sequel to the first one. But yeah, definitely if you're thinking about watching these movies, just skip the second one. These movies, they don't have any continuity. Like none of the movies. The only thing that connects these movies is they each have a scarecrow in them, and kind of the legend of the Scarecrow is similar, but it's not even really that similar. So yeah, these movies don't really have continuity. It doesn't matter. You could watch the first one and the third one. You wouldn't miss anything. So yeah, that's my recommendation. So I'm going to head out here. Thank you all very much for watching, and peace out.